What is going on, guys? It's Jude coming to you another comic book review, and I'm gonna get straight to this. About a month ago, I did a review on Ghost Machine. It was a whole entire thick book, giving us a preview of what's to come throughout their whole series of the Unnamed and the Ghost Machine. And I was very interested once I read it. You can see the video; it's still on the page. It was from about a month ago, and there was some books that they were previewing, and we know the first one from Unnamed Ghost Machine was Junkyard Joe, which I read a few years ago about a robot that was created to design by the government to be some type of war machine. And that was a fairly interesting book, and I was hoping that they came out with another volume series at least sometime in the future. So it's already been like a year and a half, and there's still no volume. I haven't heard anything about anything coming out. I don't know if the way they ended it, that's the way they're going to end it. Hopefully not. Hopefully they find a way to get it back in the loop. So there's three books I have. They all came out April. They all came out the first week of April. Redcoat, Geiger, which is an ongoing series, and Rook. Redcoat and Rook are brand new. And they introduced us some characters as well in the Ghost Machine book as well. So the first one I read was Redcoat because I was very interested in what is this about? What the hell is this? When I see a guy with a red coat and it looks like something from a dude with an American flag and it's from the 1700s, got to be quite interesting. So it is kind of what it looks like. The Redcoats. The Redcoats are coming. Paul Revere has a cameo in this book talking about the Redcoats are coming. So it turns out there was these guys being attacked by the Redcoats, and next thing you know, they get attacked by these fireflies. And these fireflies swarm into them, and they light up, and they destroy them. There was a little bit of confusion. No one knew what the hell was going on. This guy comes on the scene, and he says that he was the reason that happened, but he ends up being on the run. And he's telling the story on how he ended up like that. So there was a cameo with Ben Franklin. And they were about to do some type of sacrifice. What's the word I'm looking for? Some type of sacrifice. Yeah, they're about to do some type of sacrifice, cult religious thing to Ben Franklin. And this guy was hiding inside some type of church. And he ended up distracting him, and he ended up getting caught with this curse by these hooded people. I forgot what they're called. And that's how he ended up getting this power. So this book actually turned out to be extremely way more interesting than I anticipated. I didn't know what to expect. I mean, it is a comic book, and it's written by Jeff Johns. I should have known there was something that was going to come. Ben Franklin was in the book, and he was just there for that. But this guy basically died a couple times. And then he came back to life. And then he died again. I mean, I ain't going to say he came back to life, immortal or something. I don't know. It's hard to explain. It's like whatever happened to him, he's never fully gone. And he's living through different time periods, different eras. He's living through different eras. He's been around. He's been around for a very long. Like it'll show, like 100 years later, this happened, then this happened. And he even explains how it's funny how he's like, I might never die, but I'm always broke too. So it's almost like he don't have a career, he don't have money, he doesn't even know how he's living. And then there's like a scene where young Albert Einstein digs him out of his grave. I don't know. So they're throwing in some cameos with well-known historical names. Ben Franklin, Einstein, Paul Revere, stuff like that. But they're adding more of an interesting story to it about what this guy is about. So, to me, I wouldn't be surprised if he shows up in one of these other books through Ghost Machine. So, no complaints here. I really think y'all should check this out. I was actually more surprised from that book out of all of them. That one had me locked in. I caught no ADD. Nothing distracted me. Once I started reading, I was kind of locked in. So that's how much I liked it. All right, so there's another book. This is another one that I saw in the Ghost Machine preview book it's called Rook Exodus. This is kind of like a far difference from Redcoat. This is going so far into the future that my dad's dad, I mean my kids, you know, that's how far it is. We wouldn't be able to keep up. Anyways, planet Earth had gone to shit. basically, and um, they end up on a planet that is basically as a heartbeat of a machine, and the machine started to go down, and these animals started to evolve and get bigger and dangerous, and the world isn't destroyed. There was even the scene where this guy Rook was explaining how the population has fell down to one person. It went from this many to this many. He's walking around. He has a partner, a guy that's represented like kind of by a warhog. He's like he has a mask. He's like a crow. He's like and there's like a direwolf lady, and there's different these individuals were kind of took the some type of soul power from animals or something. But he's basically just explaining what happened to him, how did he end up there, his backstory, his family, why are they there. The art is awesome, fantastic. The fight scenes, this giant, humongous bear that shows up on the scene, and he explains that. So it hasn't gotten to the root of this, but it's explaining a whole lot, and this is actually something I would definitely recommend. And no complaints from this as of right now from the Rook Exodus. This is from the far future, and that's what I like anyway. A post-apocalyptic far future. All right, so we come from the unnamed Ghost Machine. We continue with Geiger. This is an ongoing series that came out maybe like 2021. Geiger. Geiger is a guy that got caught. He had a family. He had kids. If you haven't read it, I have the full book, the full volume 1. And I read the 2 specials that came out November, December last year. This guy is like he ended up with these powers of some nuclear radiation blast that happened. He had this special bunker. He had this conspiracy. They knew about it, and all hell broke loose. And he pretty much gained all this power and lost. He hasn't seen his family ever since, and he's been a dark, depressed individual. People know of him. They consider him a creature, a monster. He's actually being haunted. People obviously don't like him because of his powers. He lights up with this neon green of radiation, nuclear, some type of special powers, which really would kill somebody. But anyways, this one kind of focuses on some guy that's obsessed with him because of what he has done and what he used to be. And the guy says his name was like Nate or something. He said he used to be this, but he started looking up to him, and he wanted to follow him around. But Geiger wasn't having it at first. But the guy had told him that the word around it said they found someone with the same powers and they healed the guy. So it jumps into an interesting. There's some flashback scenes of him and his family as well. He renewed his vows with his wife and his kids were there. So that's one thing he always does. I noticed in other books he always thinks about his past, because that's one thing he missed. He lost everything. He lost everything when this happened. Now it's almost like he's a superhero villain. He's like a guy that does for the good, but he's also considered a villain because of how he looks and what he does. So with this, I would say I would definitely give this a read. It was written by Jeff Johns. As a matter of fact, Jeff Johns pretty much did all of these books. He also did Junkyard Joe, the one I was talking about from Ghost Machine, the Unnamed universe. So I would recommend all 3 of these. No complaints from me. Usually there's something that's going to stand out for me that I would complain about. I did not complain about anything in these books, to be honest with you. So I love the covers. They're like real solid. Like they're not thin, flimsy. They're really solid. They all came out the same day, which you normally don't see. And hopefully, I was saying I hope they don't keep doing that, but they might. So I guess I'd make it easier on comic book day to just say, hey, we'll get those 3. So yeah, so I'm going to continue to read the Ghost Machine universe. I'm going to see if any of these clash. I'm going to see what happens with that. And I would recommend these. So, yeah, if I were you, go ahead and check them out. Geiger, Rook, Redcoat.